Hello everyone. In this video I will discuss one of the film called Warning, 2021, and never forget that I always pray for you and your family to be happy and healthy, always. The scene of the movie opens with the only astronaut in space, David, who is assigned by NASA to do maintenance for satellites outside the Earth for a salary of $500,000 per year. David continues to rant because the scientists at the station are asking him to hurry up and fix the satellite on the grounds that they need to monitor an asteroid heading towards Earth, while he is the only NASA astronaut in space at the moment. He also raved because humans in this day, or in an age full of technological sophistication, became very lazy, so that the only astronaut was himself. Suddenly, the satellite issued an electrical explosion that blew David away. He lost contact with the Earth, and not only that, but there began to be a lot of lightning that appeared in the sky. The story will focus on the lives of several people in 2028. At that time, AI robot technology had developed so far from the time we live in now that it was even applied to a mass-produced human helper robot. That morning, at an old robot sales place, Brian, an android robot seller, had a prospective buyer. The woman deliberately came to this place because she wanted to buy a robot at a price below the market. Brian also introduced an old robot named Charlie. Charlie introduced his specifications. He is an old robot that was created to take care of an elderly person. His shortcomings are that he moves slowly and cannot be exposed to water. Hearing these reasons, the woman immediately cancelled her intention to buy the robot. According to her, even though it was cheap, Charlie's robot was completely outdated, and if adopted, it would become a burden for the employer. After that, Brian called a lot of people to offer his robot, but none of the people he called were interested in the robot he was selling. The reason is the same. The robot is too outdated and cannot meet the multifunctional needs of this modern world. Meanwhile, David was still floating in space. The rocket thrusters in his suit were damaged, plus his communication with Earth had been cut off, and there was nothing David could do now. The scene moves to a woman named Claire, who has just woken up from her sleep. She's greeted by a sophisticated prism-shaped AI robot, and one of the oddities of modern times is that the prism-shaped robot is considered a god. Claire and most people have changed their beliefs by worshipping the robot as God. The prism robot has sophisticated camera sensors and sensors connected to Claire's brain. The robot will monitor all of Claire's activities non-stop. Every good and bad deed or good and bad thought about Claire will be immediately recorded by the robot. If Claire commits a sin, the sin will be recorded as a fine that Claire must pay when extending the robot's lifetime. While backing up her car, Claire accidentally hit the car behind her, and the robot tells her that if Claire is not responsible, then it will be recorded as a sin, but if Claire apologizes to the car owner, the robot will not record it as a sin. Claire immediately apologized by putting a note with her apology on the car she hit. Day turns into night, and before going to bed, Claire gets a notification of robot updates. Being able to predict the future and being able to talk to 7 deceased relatives is an update offered by the robot, and in the end, Claire agrees to the update. Brian, on the other hand, had run out of ways to sell his old robots. He decides to just destroy his robots to reduce the burden of maintenance costs, and in desperation, he does that. Then he lays down on the ground and feels frustrated about the life he is living. In the morning, when Claire woke up, she called out to God, but the robot she worshipped did not answer her calls at all. Claire immediately contacted customer service at the company where the robot was manufactured. She reported that the robot was completely dead after the update, and then customer service told her that the incident was indeed happening to many other users because a thunderstorm had disrupted the satellites that generated internet networks throughout the world. That's why Claire had to take it directly to the head office to get it fixed. The scene then shows a young man named Ben. He uses sophisticated VR technology to relive romantic times with his ex-girlfriend, Anna. The relationship between the two of them has indeed ended, but Ben himself has never been able to move on from his lover. He always uses VR to treat his longing. Unexpectedly, Ben's behavior of always remembering Anna's figure has made Anna haunted by strange shadows in her mind. She immediately realized that it was Ben's doing. And because Ben was very close to Anna in virtual reality, his VR system issued a warning, and eventually an error occurred, causing Ben to exit the VR. Now Ben can no longer see his beautiful memories with Anna through VR, and he became really upset. Meanwhile, David could only float in space. No one could save him, because NASA, which had sent him, could not possibly go out into space just to save David. David had 6 days of oxygen left, and during those 6 days, David could not do anything but wait for his fate. The scene changes to show Claire arriving at the robot headquarters. She meets the receptionist and tells her what happened to her robot. Claire is offered the latest robot because she is told that Claire's old robot became damaged when it failed to run an update. Claire, the robot worshipper of God, was forced to buy a robot at a higher price. When she got home, Claire turned on the robot. She was surprised when it turned out that it was equipped with more sophisticated sensors and updates. Even the slightest movement made by Claire was commented on and recorded as a sin. Feeling annoyed by the increasing fines, Claire finally threw away the robot. The scene shifts to a couple, Nina and Liam. It was the day Liam planned to introduce Nina to his extended family. Before they entered, Liam, who was the scion of a conglomerate, told Nina that his mother was very particular about her prospective daughter-in-law. Liam's mother would surely have many comments about Nina, and indeed, when they met and had dinner together, Liam's mother showed her displeasure towards Nina. In her eyes, Nina was just a countryside girl who wasn't on the same level as Liam. While Liam's father didn't mind Nina's background and tried to calm his wife, Liam's mother continued to criticize Nina as if she wanted her to leave their house immediately. On the other hand, Ben decided to visit the apartment where Anna lived to explain what had happened. Just as he arrived at her doorstep, Anna asked Ben to leave immediately. Anna scolded Ben, saying that no matter how many times he came, she would never get back together with him. Anna opened her apartment door and asked Ben to stop living in the past, but Ben continued to insist that their relationship could go back to the way it used to be. Because Ben kept pushing aggressively, Anna eventually had to incapacitate him. Meanwhile, David decided to tell a story to himself to chase away his loneliness. He had a young daughter named Emma. He regretted being the only astronaut who left Earth just to maintain a satellite amidst a humanity addicted to technology. He saw humans becoming selfish and felt that maybe he should be selfish too, so that he could spend time with his daughter. The scene shifts to a girl named Magda. She and her mother live in a shabby van. They are a poor family living a miserable life. Her father left them a long time ago, leaving her mother to drown her sorrows in alcohol and cigarettes every day. Because of this, Magda has to be the breadwinner in the family, and that day, she was scolded by her mother. Every weekend, Magda would go out, although her real purpose was to work. Magda keeps her way of earning money a secret from her mother. She makes money by exchanging her body with a man using advanced body exchange technology. In the exchange room of a hotel, there's a man named Petrov who pays for a 24-hour body swap with Magda. Petrov's consciousness will be transferred to Magda's body, while Magda herself won't feel anything, essentially experiencing it like a 24-hour sleep. Something has happened at Liam's house. Nina realized that Liam's mother had forced Liam with technology to erase all memories of Nina from his memory. Knowing this, Nina could only despair and could not do anything. When the memory erasure process was complete, Liam met Nina, and sure enough, Liam did not recognize Nina's figure at all. Liam thought that Nina was just a stranger, as if she were the person he had just met. With a broken heart, Nina immediately left the house. The body exchange has been successfully carried out. Petrov, who was previously just a lonely man or a no-life man who isolated himself from society, can now fantasize about being a beautiful girl admired by many people. After experiencing the new sensations in his body, Petrov immediately got acquainted with a hotel receptionist named Vincent. Vincent, who was interested in Petrov, invited him to a party. There, Petrov, who is actually a man controlling Magda's body, wanted to find a beautiful woman to get acquainted with, and he befriended one of Vincent's friends. After getting acquainted, Vincent and his friends invited Petrov back to the hotel room to party. Petrov hid his original body under the bed. After that, Petrov drank too much and became semi-conscious. Unexpectedly, Vincent wanted to do something to Petrov, but Petrov resisted because he didn't want a man. Unfortunately, the girl's body with Petrov's soul was still very weak, which led to Vincent beating him almost to death. Luckily, Vincent's friend intervened and stopped the act. They realized that the girl was still very young when they saw her identification card, which turned out to be only 17 years old, meaning she was underage. In panic, they carried Magda's dying body, with Petrov's consciousness inside, and left it in front of Magda's house. This means that Magda's consciousness will never be able to return because the time limit to restore memories is only 24 hours. Petrov, who is on the verge of death in Magda's body, will not be able to recover quickly, and his soul cannot return to his original body in the hotel room. David, who is adrift in space, watches as several asteroids begin to enter Earth's atmosphere. He can only resign himself to witnessing the destruction of the world before his eyes, and he cannot meet his daughter Emma for the last time. The government, upon seeing the meteors entering the Earth's atmosphere, immediately broadcasts an emergency broadcast. The government evacuates the citizens to seek shelter in underground stations. The people scramble to find refuge in these safe places. Meanwhile, Emma walks alone amidst the crowd of people. She is approached by a woman who asks about Emma's parents. Emma remained silent and just answered her name, and then the two of them sat down at the underground station. Not long after, the meteor reaches the Earth's surface. The impact is devastating, obliterating everything on the planet. David can only watch as the entire human race faces extinction and the complete destruction of planet Earth. In that moment, he can only remember Emma, a regret that he carries until his death. He knows he will never be able to see Emma again, no matter what. Now, as the last surviving human, he waits for approximately 5 days until his oxygen supply completely runs out. Despite the unrelated and absurd stories in this film, it reminds us of the importance of considering the long-term consequences of technological advancements. They serve as a reminder that uncontrolled or poorly considered technological development can have negative impacts on human life. And that's it for the story series of this film. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to support this channel by subscribe, like and share. See you in the next video. Goodbye.